Greetings, I'm ERod, Prince of Awesomeness. Magical powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic hammer and said, "By the power of badassitude! I have the power!"
El universo ya está protegido por el poder de Grayskull, con secretos poderes de este gran castillo, y Man luchará hasta el final. Teniendo a su lado la mágica espada y amigos que no fallarán, las fuerzas malvadas querrán liquidarlo y nunca descansarán.
In a world of uncertainty, where movie theaters are plagued by remakes and sequels, in a world where big budget movies can still suck, in this world we have the Blockbuster Buster. Greetings, fanboys and fangirls, I'm ERod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster. It wasn't too long ago that we didn't get to see a great deal of variety with the protagonists in our movies and TV shows, as it was mostly ruled by the Caucasian persuasion. So we should be grateful that we live in a day and age where we actually get to see some variety in the central roles in our entertainment. Nowadays, we get to see heroes of different color, nationality, gender, and even sexual orientation. Which brings me to the following question. How come there are no Hispanic people in Star Trek? I thought that this was the show that was supposed to be the beacon of multicultural progressiveness. So what happened? Are there no Hispanic people in the future? Well, there was Ensign Rodriguez, but he never came back from checking the bushes. Alright, fine, there are some Hispanic people in Star Trek, but we can safely say that there are no cool Hispanic characters in all of the Star Trek universe. What? There is? Who? Yeah, and he is pretty awesome. Of course, I'm just goofing. And by the way, before you Trekkies get your panties in a bunch, yes, Ensign Rodriguez does come back from the bushes at the end of Shore Leave. And yes, B'Elanna Torres is half Hispanic. So for those of you who couldn't wait for this video to be over just so you can type that bit of information in the comments section, feel free to punch yourself in the face right now. Thank you. Next time, just enjoy the joke and move on. Now before we jump into the list, let's do a quick honorable mention.
De Tijuana, Mexico, Bending Rodriguez!
Yes, I know, he's a hard-drinking, womanizing kleptomaniac. But when the chips are down, this surly Mexican robot is always on hand to save the day. For a small fee, of course.
We gotta go rescue them.
I don't know.
Bender, think of the senoritas.
Vámonos!
And we can safely say that he is by far the coolest cartoon character to ever carry my last name. Unlike other embarrassing drunks that I will not name in this video.
Puedo caminar. Buenas noches, señor gato. My name is Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Alright, no more stalling. Let's jump right into this list, as today I'm celebrating multicultural progressiveness along with my heritage as I count down the top 10 Hispanic heroes. Let's get this party rolling with the first Hispanic superhero that I was ever aware of.
De la Ciudad de México, El Chapulín Colorado!
Now for those of you who don't watch Telemundo and don't know who the hell this is, Have you ever wondered who the Simpsons are always making fun of with that weird bumblebee man that's always on TV? El Chapulín Colorado, or the Red Grasshopper in English, was actually a parody of superheroes that were on TV at the time, such as Adam West's Batman and George Reeves' Superman. He was a clumsy, clueless nincompoop who couldn't live up to his overblown reputation. Just think of Peter Sellers as Inspector Clouseau if he was a superhero. Chapulín was played by Chespirito, a legendary Mexican comedian who was famous for playing multiple signature characters in his shows, kind of like one of the principal players on Saturday Night Live. Or, man, I can't think of another example. Mira papi, do you need me for anything? You can go home for the day. Alright, hasta luego. Yeah, you too, buddy. Anyway, even though Chapulín didn't have any powers, or he technically wasn't a real superhero, he always genuinely wanted to do good, and I always admired that. My dad grew up watching him, I grew up watching him, and chances are there are little Hispanic kids watching him right now. So in the end, Chespirito, we really weren't counting on your cleverness.
No contaban con mi astucia. Díganme los buenos.
Alright, everybody stand in attention. The Admiral's on the bridge.
De la ciudad de Caprica, el Admiral William Adamo.
Edward James Olmos is one of the most respected actors in the Hispanic community, and he is well known for turning down many sci-fi roles throughout his career. Hell, the last sci-fi role he took before Admiral Adama was in Blade Runner. So when he agreed to play one of the central characters in Battlestar Galactica, you knew the show had to be something special. And for the most part, it was. And it led to some of the best work of his career. And as he took his place as one of the leaders of the last surviving members of the human race, he stood as proof that we've come a long way since the days of Ensign Rodriguez. So way to go, Mr. Olmos. So say we all.
If it turns out that there are not enough personnel to crew Galactica, I will lead a Raptor assault with anyone who is willing to join me.
Alright, let's move on to... What? We have to cut to commercial? Oh man, first the Nostalgia Critic, then Spoonie, now me? What? They're paying how much? We'll roll the commercial.
Este episodio del Blockbuster Buster es auspiciado por Frijoles Goya.
Oh, what? Oh, okay, Estos frijoles son muy buenos.
Sí, es Goya. Tiene que ser bueno.
Oh, we're back. Alright, so let's move on to a real insect-themed superhero.
Del Paso, Texas, Jaime Reyes, the Blue Beetle.
Ted Kord, the previous Blue Beetle, was one of those characters that I didn't love or hate. To me, he just existed. However, his death scene was by far one of the most striking moments I have ever seen in a comic book. But when I heard that there was a new Blue Beetle in the horizon, I automatically rolled my eyes and thought about how meaningless his death scene was, now that I knew that it was just an excuse for a lame reboot. But everybody and their mom recommended me the book, so I finally gave in, and lo and behold, the new Blue Beetle series, especially when it first came out, was pretty awesome. Of course, I'm not saying anything that our resident comic book guy, Linkara, hasn't said already. The original run of the comic is great, so if you have a chance to get a hold of the trade, get it. What I love about Jaime is that he is not a walking stereotype. He's just a regular kid who just so happens to be Hispanic and a superhero. I wish this character would have existed when I started reading comics in the late 80s and the early 90s, when I really couldn't find any relatable characters. Thankfully, Jaime's legacy continues as one of the recurring characters in Batman the Brave and the Bold. Even the WB considered making a live-action show as one of their many possible follow-ups to Smallville, but the show was never picked up. Honestly, after seeing what they did with Wonder Woman, I'm kinda glad they didn't.
Whoa, that was quick, Batman.
Batman isn't available, but perhaps I can be of service.
Right, enough of the guys. Let's look at a feisty Latina.
De los marinos coloniales, la privada Janet Vasquez.
Yes, I know, Vasquez is played by a white woman. More specifically, this white woman. But we're talking about the character here, not the actor. And Jeanette Goldstein did such an amazing job playing Vasquez that most people have no idea that she's not a feisty Latina. And I'm sure that if James Cameron could have gotten an actual Hispanic girl, he would have. Oh wait, that's right, he did, in that other movie. It just keeps on reeking of originality. Anywho, Vasquez is a badass machine gun toting colonial marine that eats alien xenomorphs for breakfast. She might be one of the smallest members of her team, but she has more balls than half her squad. While Hudson is wetting his drawers over their first alien encounter, Vasquez can't wait to get back in the fray to kick more alien ass.
Look, man, I only need to know one thing. Where they are.
Plus, she has one of the greatest tough guy lines, or dare I say, tough girl lines, in movie history.
Hey, Vasquez. Have you ever been mistaken for a man?
No. Have you?
Oh, Vasquez. He just too bad.
Alright, let's move on to... What? Another commercial? Are they paying me the same? Okay, roll it.
Este episodio del Blockbuster Buster es auspiciado por 98.1 El Poder Latino.
Oh, today, you crazy Taino. Oh, we're back. That was a quick one. Alright, so let's move on to my favorite sword-fighting Spaniard. And I find it fair to warn you, he's actually not left-handed.
De la madre patria en España, Íñigo Montoya!
As portrayed by Mandy Patinkin in The Princess Bride, which is a movie that may not have the greatest story, but the characters are so awesome that they more than make up for it. Íñigo is no exception. He's a gifted Spanish sword fighter whose only desire is to avenge his father's death. And of course, he has one of the most memorable catchphrases ever.
Hello. My name is Íñigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
That's right, Íñigo says you die, motherfucker! When it comes to sword fighting, he has no equal, until he goes up against the Dread Pirate Roberts. Now, if you want my opinion, their sword fighting scene is not one of the best I've ever seen. It is the greatest sword fighting scene in movie history. So feel free to carve that into my tombstone.
You seem a decent fellow. I hate to kill you.
You seem a decent fellow. I hate to die.